That's the 4 hour right here. That's that gap. So if you're looking at the daily chart, what's it framed on? It's the 4 hour chart. That fair value gap. That candle's low on September 20th, 10 p.m. and the high of the September 21st at 6 a.m.'s high. And this again, it's a 4 hour chart. So that's that inefficiency range that I was showing here. And then the buy stops here framed on that swing high, and it can be easily seen here on the 60-minute chart. So you can see how the 4 hour doesn't show a fair value gap. And it was in concert with what the idea I was teaching a little while ago when I was saying you want to get comfortable with going through time frames that are not classically used. Like 4 hours is a classically used time frame. I mean, everybody does technical analysis less than a daily chart. They're familiar with a 4 hour chart. You might not use a 4 hour chart a lot, but when I go through time frames, like I'm not just limiting it to daily, 4 hour, 15, 5, 1, all that. I'm looking at time frames that are outside the norm, like I was saying earlier. There's 4 quarters or 15-minute intervals inside of a 60-minute chart. So one candlestick on an hourly chart is 4 15-minute candlesticks. But what happens when you look at 6 15-minute candlestick durations? You're going to see inefficiencies that won't necessarily be visible on the other time frames, whether it be the 4 quarters of a 15-minute inside of an hourly range or on the basis of a 60-minute hourly candlestick chart. So I'm trying to inspire you to look inside price at different intervals that are not classically used. So that way you'll see inefficiencies that most everyone else are just simply not aware of. And it'll give you a better feel for what it's really reaching for. Because, the algorithm is extremely complex, and it's cycling through a myriad of time frames looking at the inefficiencies between consecutive candlesticks. Okay, we see them as a measurement of time. The algorithm works from the higher time frames down to the lower time frames, and then it cycles right back up again. Because it's because it's an algorithm, it's running a macro, it's a script, it's constantly looking for these. And that's what's going on. It's not buying and selling pressure. You're going to sit and tell me that what we were doing yesterday live, when I was telling you those little tiny little minute discrepancies between 3 candles that create a volume imbalance or a fair value gap, that just random buying and selling pressure happened to align with those very specific turning points right to the tick. That's what you're going to argue. It takes more faith to believe that bullshit than it is that this is all rigged, it's controlled,